So if elected president, how would you bridge the divide between the two?
Well, David, I think this is one of the most important challenges facing not just our next president, but our country. We have systemic racism and injustice and inequities in our country, and in particular in our justice system, that must be addressed and must be ended. I feel very strongly that we have to reform our criminal justice system, and we have to find ways to try to bring law enforcement together again with the communities that they are sworn to protect. Trust has been totally lost in a lot of places. At the same time, we know that in many parts of our country, police officers are bridging those divides, and they're acting heroically. The young officer who was killed responding to the Planned Parenthood murders, the officer who told the victims of the San Bernardino killings that he would take a bullet before them. So I think that we need to build on the work of the Policing Commission that President Obama impaneled. We need to get a bipartisan commitment to work together on this. And we need to hear the voices of those men and women and boys and girls who feel like strangers in their own country, and do whatever is necessary to not only deal with the immediate problems within the criminal justice system, but more opportunities, more jobs, better education, so that we can begin to rebuild that very valuable asset known as trust.
Secretary, thank you. Governor O'Malley, how would you bridge the divide?
There is no issue in American public policy that I have worked on more day in and day out than this painful issue of policing, of law enforcement, criminal justice, and race in America. When I ran in 1999, David, for mayor of Baltimore, our city by that year had become the most addicted, violent, and abandoned in America. But we came together. I brought people together over some very deep racial divides, and we were able to put our city on a path for the biggest reduction in crime of any major city in America over the next 10 years. As governor, we continued to work together. We reduced violent crime to 30-year lows, but get this, we also reduced incarceration rates to 20-year lows. So it is possible, actually, to find the things that actually work, that we did, increasing drug treatment, using big data to better protect the lives of young people, cut juvenile crime in half. And it's also possible to improve how we police our police. Look, there wasn't a single day as mayor of Baltimore that I wasn't asked whether I was delivering on the promise I made to police the police. We reported excessive force, discourtesy, use of lethal force. In fact, drove down to 3 of the 4 lowest years on record, police use of lethal force. As a nation, we have to embrace this moment and make our departments more open, more transparent, and more accountable. Just as we require every major department, every county to report its major crimes, we should require police departments to report their discourtesy, brutality, excessive force. There's so much work that can be done, so much we've learned to do better. We need to do it now as a nation. This is our time and our opportunity to do that.
Governor, thank you. And Senator Sanders, when you hear the FBI director calling it a chill wind blowing through American law enforcement, does that concern you as well when you...
Well, this whole issue concerns me, and I agree with much of what the Secretary and the Governor have said. But let's be clear. Today in America, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. 2.2 million people, predominantly African American and Hispanic. We are spending $80 billion a year locking up our fellow Americans. I think, and this is not easy, but I think we need to wage a major effort to come together as a country and end institutional racism. We need major reforms of a very broken criminal justice system. Now, what does that mean? Well, for a start, it means that police officers should not be shooting unarmed people, predominantly African Americans. It means that we have to rethink the so-called war on drugs, which has destroyed the lives of millions of people, which is why I have taken marijuana out of the Controlled Substance Act, so that it will not be a federal crime. That is why we need to make police, and I speak as a former mayor. I was a mayor for 8 years, worked very closely with the great police department. And what we did is try to move that department toward community policing so that the police officers become part of the community and not, as we see in some cities, an oppressive force. We need to make police departments look like the communities they serve in terms of diversity. We need to end minimal sentencing. We need basically to pledge that we're going to invest in this country in jobs and education, not more jails and incarceration.
Senator, thank you.